After more than 15 years together, perspectives shift. Life has a way of reshaping relationships, and sometimes your spouse becomes more than just your cherished partner. This was the case for Grigory, who took up trucking in recent years. He relished the journeys away, finding solace in returning to his wife. Their time apart rejuvenated them, making each reunion feel like a second honeymoon. This arrangement was mutually satisfying. Xenia, Grigory's wife, managed her own successful beauty salon. Though it was a modest business, it thrived. Their 18-year-old daughter, Varia, was pursuing her passion for design in a different city. Proud of her determination and spirit, Grigory often remarked that she took after her mother. However, during Grigory's latest homecoming, Xenia noticed a growing tension. Little things began to irritate her. The way he watched TV, drank tea, even his breathing during sleep. She eagerly awaited the end of his short stay. "I need my warm suit for my trip in 2 days," Grigory mentioned one day. "Don't worry, Chiusha, it's here. I'll get it for you tomorrow," she replied with a smile. The days passed swiftly, and without much remorse, she bid him farewell, secretly cherishing the solitude of the next 3 weeks. The thrill of having time to herself was intoxicating, and as the halfway mark of Grigory's trip approached, Xenia found herself growing melancholic about his impending return. One chilly day, she decided to take a stroll to clear her mind. Unfortunately, the biting wind drove her to seek refuge quickly. Spotting a cafe across the street, she darted across, perhaps not at the best spot. Inside, she found the ambience inviting and settled at a table. A waiter approached after a brief moment, and to her surprise, it was Kirill, the son of an old friend. "Hello," she greeted with a smile. It took Kirill a moment to place her face, but soon they were exchanging pleasantries. Xenia remembered Kirill from his younger days. Now he stood tall and handsome, with charming dimples gracing his cheeks. She found herself captivated by them. They chatted briefly before she placed her order. Yet Kirill's occasional visits to her table kept her mind lingering on him. That night, he even made an appearance in her dreams. And the next day, she found it hard to shake off persistent thoughts of him. Xenia chastised herself for these feelings, trying to redirect her focus to work. However, her imagination continued to conjure up scenarios starring her and Kirill. Xenia tried to reprimand herself, to return her attention to work. However, her imagination persisted in coming up with scenarios in which the main characters were she and Cyril. In her 40s, she has an affair with a 20-year-old and finds it a mystery. The truth was revealed in an unexpected twist. Grisha managed to return from his trip earlier than expected. Remembering their big quarrel before their departure and 2 weeks of silence, he decided to surprise her. Returning, he went to the florist and chose a luxurious bouquet for Xenia. The spring air, the fragrance of the bouquet, and the anticipation of their reunion stirred a whirlwind of emotions in him. He did not yet know that this day would take a gloomy turn. Approaching the house, Grigory noticed that the kitchen and bedroom light was on. This reassured him. It means that his wife is at home. He stopped at the front door, hearing soft romantic music behind it. The door was still the same thin one he'd used when he'd moved in, and his wife had insisted on leaving it open. The music struck him as unusual for her. Swinging the door open, he found a portable speaker on the kitchen table, filling the room with music. Closing the door behind him, he cautiously entered the bedroom. The door was ajar, and he was stunned and speechless at the sight. Arriving home to see his beloved wife after a 2-week separation, Grigory faced a shocking scene. Xenia was on her knees, She was held by her hair by a young man, and her hands were handcuffed behind her back. The young man, Kirill, was the first to notice Grisha in the hallway and froze. Xenia turned and saw her husband's clenched fists just before Grigory pounced on Kirill. With handcuffs in hand, leaving her powerless to intervene or help her lover, all she could do was scream and cry, begging Grigory to stop the attack. Finally pulling himself together, Grigory stood up, his hands still clenched into fists and his eyes full of hatred and thirst for revenge as he looked at his wife. Xenia backed away, pressing herself against the wall in fear. "I can explain," she began, but Grigory was unwilling to listen to her. He covered the distance between them in one fell swoop, hitting the wall next to her face with such force that Xenia's insides clenched with terror, and she mentally prepared herself for the worst. But Grigory could not allow himself to lose control of himself. He did not want to face the terrible consequences of his actions. "I'm leaving," he growled, forcing Xenia and Kirill out of the house despite their protests. Grigory's rage was palpable, leaving no room for speculation as to what might be waiting for the two of them outside. Following Xenia, he watched her belongings being thrown out the window. He did not know, nor did he want to know, what fate awaited them next. The next day, Grigory went to the registry office to file for divorce, and then drowned his sorrow in alcohol in a bar, completely blacked out. The next morning, he woke up on a park bench, feeling the chill of the night wind through his shirt, reminding him of his drunken stupor. In the weeks that followed, he and Xenia crossed paths more than once at the registry office to sort out the property. She apologized and cried, but never once begged to save their marriage. Perhaps, deep down, Xenia realized that reconciliation is impossible. She betrayed Grigory, and there was no turning back. Their daughter informed Grigory that his ex-wife moved in with her young lover, despite her mother's objections. Although Grigory told his daughter that he wished them happiness, he couldn't help but hold a grudge against both of them. Deep down, he knew that their relationship would not last long. The significant age difference between them would inevitably become a point of contention once the initial passion faded. Eventually, Xenia will realize the depth of what she has lost: a faithful partner, family, and the respect of others.